Today we're diving into a family road trip that took a terrifying detour into the absolute unknown. Now, this isn't just some campfire story. It's a true account from someone who lived through a night of pure horror, all because of one single fateful decision. Just imagine hearing that. Not just drive faster, but a scream of pure unfiltered terror from your family. You're in the middle of nowhere, in the dead of night, on a road that is completely deserted. We're going to unpack exactly what led to this horrifying moment and how a dream trip turned into a desperate flight for survival. So, believe it or not, our story doesn't start with fear. It starts with happiness, with excitement. We have two families. There's Devansh, his parents, his sister, and his aunt's family. All of them packed into their SUV, leaving Delhi for what was supposed to be a really joyous spiritual journey.
The plan? Well, it was simple and it was full of hope. A super early 3 a.m. start from Delhi, with visits to the sacred temples of Khatu Sham and Salasar Balaji. You know, this was a journey of devotion, something the entire family was really looking forward to.
And honestly, the first leg of the trip was just perfect. The car was filled with laughter, the cousins were having a blast. They completed their prayers at both temples and started the drive home feeling blessed, totally content, and, spiritually protected.
So now it's getting late, maybe around 10:30 at night. They've just finished dinner at a highway restaurant on their way back to Delhi. And that's when Devansh's father spots a sign that was about to completely change the course of their night, and honestly, their lives.
And there it was, a shortcut. You know how it is. Late at night, you're tired, an offer that seems almost too good to refuse. Just to save a little bit of time, they turned off the bright, familiar highway and onto this dark, ominous road that just seemed to disappear into a menacing forest.
And they realized their mistake almost immediately. This road was empty, it was pitch black, and it was just swallowed by the forests on both sides. About 20 kilometers in, they cross a railway line, a fatak. And that is where their joyful journey really starts to come apart.
All of a sudden, the car felt incredibly heavy, like it was being dragged by some invisible weight. Devansh's father is pushing the accelerator all the way to the floor, but the powerful Fortuner just refuses to go any faster than this crawl, just 20 kilometers per hour.
He had no idea what was happening. I mean, the road was perfectly flat. The car is a beast, but it felt like something was physically holding them back. The confusion in the front seat was very quickly turning into this heavy, sinking sense of dread. As they're creeping along this unnerving path, they see a couple on the side of the road dressed in traditional clothing. A glimmer of hope, right? They think, finally, we can ask for directions and get off this horrible road. So Devansh's father slows the car down. But before he could even speak a word, his sister-in-law screams. "I saw their feet," she cried out. "They were completely backwards." Now, in Indian folklore, feet that are twisted backwards, that is the unmistakable sign of a chudail, a dangerous, malevolent spirit. They peel out, just speeding away in a blind panic. But their escape doesn't last long. Just 2 kilometers down the road, the engine coughs, it sputters, and then it cuts out completely, plunging them into this terrifying, absolute silence and darkness. They were stranded. Trapped and absolutely terrified, Devansh's mother does what many of us would do. She reached for her faith. She pulls out her phone to play the Hanuman Chalisa, a powerful hymn that's often chanted for protection against evil. But as soon as the first sacred words begin to play, her phone just switches off, dead. Panicked, his aunt tries on her phone, and the exact same thing happens. The hymn starts, and the phone dies. Their spiritual shield was just gone. It was in that moment of complete helplessness that Devansh, sitting in the back, whispers in terror, "Dad, look what's in front." Something was shambling towards them from the inky blackness. It was this grotesque, lurching figure, moving with a limp like something out of a nightmare. One of its arms was severed, dripping some kind of dark liquid. This was not a human. This was something else entirely. With this impossible speed, it just lunged and landed on the hood of the SUV with a sickening thud. The impact was so hard it actually buckled the heavy metal and sent a massive crack spiderwebbing across the thick windshield. This attack was real. But miraculously, right as the creature struck the car, the engine roared back to life. Now, whether it was the shock or some kind of divine intervention, they didn't wait around to find out. Devansh's father slammed the accelerator, throwing that horrifying thing off the car as they just tore off into the darkness. Driving blind, the entire family is now chanting the Hanuman Chalisa out loud together. And then they spotted it, a single warm light, a beacon in that oppressive blackness. It was a temple dedicated to Hanuman, the protector, just glowing in the distance.
They pulled into the temple grounds, and a priest, who was woken up by all the commotion, rushes them inside and locks the heavy gate behind them. Trembling, the family just spills everything, recounting every single terrifying detail of their ordeal.
The priest just listened, his face grim. And then he explained the road's dark, violent history. This wasn't just the road, it was a place of immense sorrow and death. He told them without a single doubt that their survival was only due to the blessings they had received at the temples earlier that day. After spending the rest of the night in the temple's protective sanctuary, they finally left at the first light of dawn. The terrifying experience left them shaken, of course, but it also left them with a permanent, life-altering lesson.
This entire harrowing ordeal, a true story, all stemmed from one simple choice: to save a little bit of time. It really makes you think, doesn't it? Sometimes what looks like the easy way out is actually the most dangerous and terrifying path of all.